Kira's 14 now, and obviously she has her mobile phone and her iPads and stuff like that. And I sit down with her all the time, and I tell her all the warnings that you tell your kids and the examples you tell your kids. And I think the problem as a parent, you go, well, I've told her, my kid will never do that now. And
I've had that talk.
I've had that talk with her, and I really know everything about my own child, and she will never do it. And then you see things online that people have set up to trap kids, to show the parents that their kids would do it, you know, and it scares you. And no matter how much you do think you know them, I still think there's things they're not going to tell you, and
it's true. I mean, I know now. Of course, I'm hearing all the things that my kids did, and I think, but I used to have them do it. If you're going to do it in my home, right? And they did, and it's like, but the thing is, times have changed so much now, you know, because at that point, you know, I wouldn't have thought of looking into, for instance, Kate's diary or Oliver's things or whatever, because I want to be able to give them, you know, the integrity of being, you know, a person and have them really trust them. On the other side, today, I'm not so sure it would be that way. I mean, we're living in a different society. We have demons out there. We have a lot of things we have to be aware of. And it frightens me to think that my children, girls, boys, would be prey to any of these things. So I think there's an amazing vulnerability in terms of where we are today. And we do have to pay big attention to our children.
And there's a distinction, isn't there? Because what you're talking about there, the old locked diary sort of thing that we all had, that's sort of our innermost thoughts and desires. Whereas social media, they're kind of putting it out there anyway, so you kind of think, well, I want to see what they're putting out. So I don't necessarily see it as an invasion of their privacy. I think, you know, I'm about to buy my daughter a smartphone for her 12th birthday. We've had this ongoing, and I'm terrified about the thought of the world that it's going to open up to her. And I think my rule is going to very much be, I'm watching you. I am going to be looking. I'm going to be all over your phone.
There are people now creating websites and apps and so forth to find your children. It feels like you're spying on them, and this app would allow you to go into, to just browse aspects of what they're looking at, knowing it's their friends, but if they're going into any strange sites or anything like that, that you would become aware. You know, I swear, I think that might be something I would subscribe to.
Yeah, I would.
Because it's scary out there. And you know, I'm not getting back to the brain of a child. It's not developed. Our brains are not developed fully till we're 24 anyway. When you get into an adolescent brain or pre-adolescent brain, that brain is just, it's like a 2-year-old's brain, really. Because what's happened is there's pruning that takes place. So everything they knew gets pruned. When the brain says, oh, I don't need that, I don't need that, I don't need that, and suddenly they forget things. They're high one minute, they're mad the next, they're happy, they're sad, they're depressed, they feel invincible. These are all things that these kids are experiencing.
Well, they think parents are just old-fashioned bores.
Exactly.
So when you say, I need to talk to you about this, so you can see them rolling their eyes.
And they're also innocent to believe that it will. And they're also innocent to believe that they just believe it will never happen to them.
Yeah. But if you think about if you think about when you had a crush when you were young on somebody, all rational thought just goes out of your head, doesn't it? And the kind of the ante now has been upped considerably, and so kids are sort of, well, that certain kids are saying to each other, send me this image or whatever. But I have a real problem. I mean, you mentioned Kim Kardashian. Here is somebody who, to my mind, has become famous purely because there was a sex tape put online and she said, well, OK, I didn't put it out there, but I'm now going to make some money from it. She's now on the front of Vogue magazine. She's the biggest television star probably in the world. We're all buying into that. The kids are all watching it. And they know that she's got all of that by a sex tape.
But it's that whole thing of there's no sense of privacy with young people, and reality TV, like the Kardashians, you see everything about everybody's life now. I think children or young people now, they don't seem to have the privacy button that we all had.
No, or the sense of personal integrity. I mean, personally, we talked about this earlier, but I think it's building a narcissistic society because people are really looking at themselves and how they are being perceived outside, even if it's a lie, even if it's not true. I'm not really that good looking, but I have a great picture of myself. My body doesn't really look that great, but I got the right angle. And you're showing it to people, and it's just this flat, you know, kind of, here's who I am. And yet it isn't who you are. You know, we're hiding behind these things. I think it's very dangerous.
And explain the difference, because people will look at that and go, oh, well, that's all right for you to say you're a movie star and you're asking people to look at you.
Yes, yes, and the world that we live in, of course, is very scrutinizing, extremely scrutinizing. It doesn't matter how old you are. As you get older, it's even worse. So people are taking pictures of you, and all of us that out there think, well, this is very wonderful and you love your pictures taken and it's all this, and they're asking us, oh, please pose like that and do this and make this, and that's what it is. And most of us hated it. It wasn't what we wanted to do. We were actors. We had careers. We had things we were doing. We had foundations and things we believed in. That was that world. Now everyone here wants to be a star. People want to be seen. We want to have the most followers possible. We don't want to lose any followers. What will we do to get those followers to stay with us? How edgy can we be? Then they look over it. You know, I don't cast aspersions. People make decisions in their lives, and this is how they want to make money. That's up to them. It's a free world. On the other side, we have to be able to have some sort of ethical standards in our society.